Hey guys, it's Leo. So let's go ahead and dive in here, take a look at, see what's going on in the crypto market. So first thing I want to take a look at here is, holy cow. So Donald Trump's World Liberty Financial Group bought 86,000 Ethereum in the past 8 hours. That is no small potatoes, my friends. That's something like, it's like 200, he doubled his entire position on Ethereum alone within the last market dip that we saw here. So this was essentially a huge crash caused by the fears with the trade wars going on. So it's basically what traders did, these whale games that they play, is that they triggered a cascading effect of stop losses. And from what I'm seeing, this is the largest liquidation in crypto history. It's even bigger than COVID and the FTX scare. But the market ate it up. I mean, they really, I mean, it went all the way down to 2,100 and then they bought it way back up. And this is interesting that Donald Trump bought so heavily on this dip because digital asset crypto czar David Sacks is going to be holding a meeting tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time to reveal I guess their plans and where they're going forward. But what's more interesting to me is that Donald Trump signs an executive order creating the first ever United States Strategic Sovereign Wealth Fund. Now, I think that what this is, well, I'm speculating here. I think that this might be the crypto strategic reserve, because what a sovereign wealth fund does is it's not limited in its scope and what it can buy. I mean, it can hold stocks, bonds, really whatever. It's at their discretion as to what they're going to add into it. And so seeing the combination of this massive buy from Donald Trump, literally last night, and then the next morning he's signing an executive order creating this sovereign wealth fund. Now, while he's not exactly coming out and just saying, yeah, we're going to put crypto in here, this is how we're going to do it, and then tomorrow David Sacks, the crypto czar, who's kind of his general in leading the charge for crypto assets, it's really, really interesting to me that that this is the series of events that have unfolded. But let's go ahead and listen here, see what they have to say about this.
This is an executive order. This charges your Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, and your Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, to begin a process that will hopefully result in the creation of an American sovereign wealth fund.
It's a very exciting event. We're going to have a sovereign wealth fund, which we've never had. We have a lot of things that create wealth, and you're seeing that over the last 2 weeks. I think we've created more wealth. Other people have created de-wealth, the people, my predecessors. We're creating a lot of wealth. Scott, maybe you'd like to say something about it, and I'd ask also Howard to say something about it.
So there it is. So the prior executive order that we'd seen related to a Bitcoin strategic reserve, because that's what everybody was waiting for, it wasn't really specific. They essentially came out and they said that, hey, we're signing this executive order and we're going to start looking into it to see how we can implement it. And now what we're seeing is that they're implementing a sovereign wealth fund. So I think this is going to be a broad reaching event. And I don't think I think the market is just kind of starting to realize how big of a deal this is, because what this means is that the United States government is going to start buying strategic assets. In the video, President Trump goes on to say that they might hold TikTok, a portion of that company, in this sovereign wealth fund. So risk assets, this is a huge shift, because it means that the government is literally going to start buying equities. They're going to buy crypto. They're going to buy all different types of assets and hold in this United States sovereign wealth fund. And in other words, that's just going to pump markets, because now you have the largest buyer on the planet, the United States government, not only looking to buy into crypto, but they're also going to start buying into the equities markets. I mean, it is interesting because even though this has been created, he still needs congressional approval for spending. So Congress is the only ones that can actually spend money. So they are going to have to present this to Congress and convince them to begin funding this sovereign wealth fund. For example, like over in Saudi Arabia, a lot of their sovereign wealth fund, the money that they get comes from oil money. They're pumping like $1 million a day out of the ground from oil, or even more in some cases. So they have to put that money somewhere, and so they invest in a broad range of assets like ETFs, stocks, gold, and they build, essentially, you can think of it like an investment portfolio for a country. And what that does is it essentially gives stability to their currency, it gives stability to the country. In some cases, it might have to do with like a pension fund and type of scenario, but the main thing that investors care about here and are going to start to realize as this news starts to unfold is that the United States government is going to be just a massive buy pressure on risk assets going forward like we have never seen before. So now the question kind of becomes, well, why Ethereum? Why is Donald Trump loading so heavy into ETH? Because 86,000 Ethereum in a single day is just absolutely ridiculous. Now maybe he's just seeing a buying opportunity because the market dipped and he's going to, offload here, but I don't think that's the case because he's been loading into this heavily I think it started a day before he was elected, and I think that it's because he understands what BlackRock's about to do with asset tokenization and what that means for the asset going forward. So right now, by far the largest tokenized, well, I guess you could call it a tokenized asset, but on Ethereum would be stablecoins. So if they just grow the stablecoin market with the US dollar, it would not only increase US dollar dominance across the entire globe, but you're talking trillions of dollars of value for Ethereum. Because of its proof of stake model, you have to have a certain level of market cap in order to be able to secure the asset. Like for example, if you have $1 trillion worth of stablecoins on Ethereum, it can't be worth $100 million because you could have someone come in and buy $200 million worth of Ethereum and stake it. Oh, well, now they have control of the network. So there's value in the amount of value securing the network. And right now that sits at a 1-to-1 parity. So however many assets the network is securing, that is roughly how much the Ethereum market cap is. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. You have what I mean is, so if you have $100 million worth of Ethereum, and then you have $100 million worth of staked stocks, securities, whatever it may be, the market cap ends up being around $200 million, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's a 1-to-1 parity between the assets that are tokenized and Ethereum itself. And so now moving back to BlackRock, because they're aggressively pursuing the tokenization of, they've mentioned stocks and bonds so far, that total market cap for stocks and bonds is $110 trillion just in the United States. You can't have Ethereum being a $300 billion asset and having $100 trillion worth of assets staked on it. The tokenomics just do not work out that way. Now, if you were to take, that would put Ethereum's market cap, if it stays at the 1-to-1 parity that we're seeing right now, which it may not, even if it's at like a tenth of what it is right now, whatever amount of Ethereum value to the amount of tokenized assets, the market will determine what is appropriate. But if it were to stay at a 1-to-1 parity, you're talking about a $200 trillion market cap just for Ethereum. Now, even if the market determines that 1/10 of that is appropriate to secure the network, you're still talking $20 trillion market cap, and that puts Ethereum in easily well into the six figures. And I think that that is the main reason why Trump is buying so heavily into Ethereum, is because he knows that this is the path that's coming down the road for Ethereum. So it's a really bright future. I know that this dip here was scary. In fact, let's just go ahead and take a look at the market here. So we have a really long trend line here going back all the way to June of 2022, and you can see every time it hits this trend line, it bounces. And so it's no different here. Well, it's a little different in that the wick broke through that trend line, but it rejected it very, very hard. I mean, if we zoom in here and take a look at this candlestick, I mean, that is about as hard of a rejection that you can get to the downside. Typically, the rule of thumb for a bullish candle here is going to be looking at the upper 1/3. So, if you look at that, that's about half. You come up here to 1/3. So really anything above a 2600 close on that candle, I would consider it a bullish candle for a reversal pattern. So given that we're more like in the 1/6, the upper 1/6, 1/5. So really hard rejection from the downside here. So, and a lot of that's because of the liquidations. They have these cascading liquidation orders coming down, and then the bulls step in, like for example Trump buying 86,000 Ethereum, and that just forces the market higher. So to me, this is going to be a reversal here. I don't expect it going any lower. This move is done. We're going up from here, especially with all the news that we just covered. And then if you just look at it from a structural standpoint, so coming over here, you notice that this was very heavy resistance going back into June of 2022. Price came all the way up to the 2000 level, hit it, went down, went all the way up to the 2100 level, and then down again. And then it finally broke through, went all the way up in March of 2024, hit the resistance at 4200, came down to that 2100 level, and then we see the same thing but going all the way back to the prior bull market in 2021, where you can see that is a very critical level of support. So in my opinion, this is the bottom. Like this little wick down here in liquidation event, that was the end of it. So I anticipate that we might trend along the lower bounds of this trend line for maybe, I don't know, a month maybe. I mean, I don't know. If you look at the past, what it's done is it tags it gets rejected, and it kind of just trends along it before moving on. So we might see something like that, or it could just take off from here. It really depends on what the meeting that with David Sacks tomorrow at 2:30 says. So we're just going to keep an eye on that. I will keep y'all updated. But until next time, y'all take care.